How do you mix rich, natural grays in watercolor without using black? The answer lies in complementary colors. Most of us think of them only in terms of contrast, but they are also the key to creating natural, nuanced grays. In this lesson, we'll explore one of the most powerful ideas in watercolor, how complementary colors can expand your visual vocabulary and create a wide range of color relationships. You'll also see a quick demo on these mixtures in action. For a better understanding of color basics, please watch the color wheel miss. Complementary colors are pairs that sit opposite each other on the color wheel. Red and green, blue and orange, yellow and violet. Side by side, they create the strongest visual punch. In Van Gogh's Cafe Terrace at Night, the glowing yellow-orange cafe set against the deep blue sky is a classic complementary contrast. The cafe instantly becomes the focal point. But complements have a second superpower that's just as important. The same pairs that give the strongest contrast can also create the most subtle neutrals when you mix them. In watercolor, black and white together usually make a flat, lifeless gray. When you mix complements instead, your grays carry temperature and personality. They can lean warm or cool toward violet, green, or orange, and they feel much more alive. This painting's neutral palette was built from red and green. These are complementary color scales. The middle section of each strip is where you find the most balanced neutrals. Here, I'm demonstrating how several complementary pairs behave. First, yellow and purple or violet. I'm going to try two yellows, lemon and mid-yellow. For this demonstration, I'm using an inexpensive chromatic watercolor set. It offers a wide range of warm and cool colors at a very low price, which makes it useful for studying complementary relationships. As I worked with it, though, I did notice some binder presence in the mixture. I would personally treat it as a student-grade budget option rather than a strong, long-term watercolor recommendation. Let's look at these two pairs with lemon and mid-yellow with violet. Closer to yellow, you get shadowy golds. Closer to violet, you get smoky purples. In the middle, the mix softens into muted, slightly warm neutrals. The gray patch below each scale indicates the most neutral mixtures in each scale. And next, orange and blue. This set doesn't have a perfectly neutral orange, but it does have orange-yellow and vermilion red-orange, which actually makes the comparison more interesting. Also, please note that Chromatec prints a code on each tube, such as W038 for vermilion, but that isn't universal pigment code system like PR, PB you see on professional paints. It's just their internal color number. Like many student-grade sets, they don't display actual pigment codes on the packaging. Again, for the purposes of these color mixing exercises, that is absolutely fine. I'm mixing a warm, yellow-leaning orange with a relatively neutral cobalt blue. Because the orange is strongly yellow-biased, the mixture tends to move toward olive-like neutrals. When orange-yellow meets ultramarine, which leans toward violet, those hidden yellow and violet components cancel out more, so the mix comes much closer to a gray. As you can see, both orange-yellow plus cobalt or cerulean give greenish neutrals because that orange is too yellow-biased. Here's a quick demo showing how the same orange creates a very different neutrals with different blues. For the sky, I mixed orange-yellow with ultramarine. For the water, I used the same orange-yellow with phthalo blue. I painted this lower section with Van Gogh tubes. Van Gogh Permanent Orange is very close to Chromatics Orange Yellow, so the mixes behave almost the same. You can see a beautiful range of grays in the top section for the same reason I explained earlier. Ultramarine mixes very well with grays with this orange yellow. Again, it's because it's not just orange versus blue, it's also yellow versus violet hiding inside the mix. In contrast, the same orange mixed with the phthalo blue produces a much greener range. Because phthalo is green biased and the orange is yellow biased, those hidden biases push the mixture toward green rather than neutral gray. Vermilion is a warm red-orange, and cobalt is a fairly middle blue. When I mix them, the first steps stay very warm, rich brick reds. As I add more cobalt, the color drops into deep, earthy browns and slightly cool grays rather than purple. This pair gives beautiful warm-leaning neutrals. Vermilion leans strongly toward red, and the ultramarine is already violet biased. The mixture dries very purplish, not neutral at all. Vermilion plus cerulean, a greener blue, gives a noticeably more neutral gray. Here, the hidden biases matter. Red-leaning vermilion and green-leaning cerulean are themselves complements. So even though we call it orange and blue, what's really canceling is red and green inside that pair. I added one more scale with vermilion and phthalo. The red biased vermilion and green biased phthalo mix into very neutral grays. Lastly, red and green. Deep green in this chromatic set feels not bright, but quite neutral to a bit cool side. When I mix it with either crimson, cooler red, or scarlet, warmer red, the midpoints of both scales give very similar neutral grays. The difference shows at the brown sides. Crimson plus deep green leans toward cooler, wine-colored browns. Scarlet plus deep green leans toward warmer, earthier browns. The strength of a painting often lies in nuanced mixtures, especially in its neutrals. An artist's ability to control these subtleties reflects the depth of their color vocabulary. Rather than memorizing a single formula, experiment and test your mixtures. The goal is to develop sensitivity to understand what kind of a neutral a painting truly requires.